So today, I think as we can hear from Paul, that organizations is focusing on delivering the capabilities, and it is also important to look at how the people can actually help to deliver that capabilities that is required. So this is why the second part of the session, we're going to look at competency, right? Competency is what the people require in order to deliver the capability for the organizations. So with that, okay, so how does ATD come in? We are actually an enterprise architecture firm that is focusing on helping organizations to align, to architect their digital transformation journey through enterprise architectures. So we have various services, the learning, coaching, and consulting. But today I'll be focusing more onto the learning activities. So we are part of IASA, authorized resellers for IASA programs for the Asia Pacific region. With that also, as Paul has mentioned earlier, when we look at enterprise architecture, we are talking about delivering the capabilities for enterprise, right? This will involve aligning business and technology from the areas of strategy to business and to technology that can be connected digitally. So in order to do that, we would need the people who acquire the right competency to be able to deliver that. So looking at the digital and workforce transformation, we have already talked about how business and technology can be aligned using through the EA approach. Now we are going to look at how people can be equipped, right, competently in order to deliver that. I'm going to show you a little video on what is the difference between the different kind of certification and program, and how does it help you to progress to the next level, whereby you can acquire the right competency to in the areas of enterprise architecture.
Hi, welcome to ATD's Digital Enterprise Architecture Upskilling and Reskilling Programs. As you know, enterprise architecture is a strategic discipline that requires the involvement of key stakeholders from various facets of an organization to ensure its success. This includes stakeholders such as CXOs, who define the business and technology strategy, as well as people from IT and business departments who are involved in requirements and IT solution delivery. Among these, there are a group of architects who play a crucial part in shaping the overall architecture. There are 5 main architect roles. The business architect creates and refines business architecture and owns business technology strategies. He is a digital strategist who knows technology and business. The information architect creates and refines information architectures and owns the data dictionary or taxonomy governance. She is an information strategist and designs the information structures to support the business. The infrastructure architect creates and refines infrastructure architectures and owns the server topology, network infrastructure, and data center environment to ensure business continuity plan. He is a technology strategist and designs the technology landscape to support the business. The software architect creates and refines software architectures and owns the application components and connectivity. She is an application strategist and designs the application patterns to support the business. The solution architect creates and refines solution architectures and owns the system implementation governance. She is an IT strategist and designs the architecture solution for the system development and implementation to support the business. Now, these architects possess 4 areas of competencies: framework, tools, skill set, notation. Let's illustrate the 4 areas of competency in the context of cooking. In enterprise architecture, frameworks give guidelines on how to set up an enterprise architecture office. The TOGAF and Zachman Enterprise Architecture Framework are some examples. Like the cooking equipment and utensils, in enterprise architecture, we also use tools to facilitate the modeling of organization and develop the digital enterprise architecture blueprint. With tools, all artifacts and components of enterprise architecture can be connected, and it provides a connected view for organization. The example of common tools in the market are BizDesign, BOC, Adoid, and Adonis, and Orbus Infinity. While the recipe gives you step-by-step instructions, it also assumes that you know how to cook. With the same recipe, different people might produce different results. Those who are more culinary experienced will have better results. Similarly, in enterprise architecture, an architect needs to have the relevant skill to carry out the jobs. The IASA Business Technology Architecture Body of Knowledge, in short BTABOK, has the most comprehensive skills defined for all domain of architects. The notation is the universal measurement for cooking. Any recipe will use universal measurements. For example, liquid will be measured in ml or salt in teaspoon. For enterprise architecture, the open standard for notation is called the Archimate, which is an open language under the Open Group. With all the skills in mind, the upskilling and reskilling program will help you to build your career with enterprise architecture. If you would like to start embarking on the enterprise architecture journey as an aspiring architect, you may want to start with the fundamental skills in business IT alignment using the enterprise architecture concept. The Business Technology Requirement Architecture, or BTRA, in short, is a course that demonstrates the key benefits and strategic values of integrating IT architecture into a business by blending best practices in business requirement architecture. The architecture competency strives to develop the competencies based on the 5 foundational pillars of IASA BTABOK to distinguish key architecture concepts and apply industry frameworks to define the business IT capabilities. The outcome is that you will understand how to align IT solutions with the organization's business goals. If you need to practice any architecture domains and would like to advance to the next level of specialization as a practitioner architect, you may want to look into the Enterprise Architecture Core and one of the 5 EA specializations, such as Business, Information, Infrastructure, Software, and Solution Architecture. In addition, Business Technology Strategy is a course that aligns communication across business units and implement effective technology strategies, which is a critical skill for all practitioner architects. To set up an enterprise architecture office, you need an EA framework. One of the most widely adopted EA frameworks is the Open Group TOGAF. This course allows you to learn to streamline EA design across domains with a unified framework. Last but not least, the Archimate EA Foundation and Practitioner helps you understand the principles and concepts of EA notation. The learning outcome as a practitioner architect is that you will be able to develop the architecture blueprint by mastering EA framework, tool, skill set, and notation. If you are leading a transformation team and running the enterprise architecture office, there are 2 certifications that you can be awarded with. The IASA BTABOK Professional Certification is conducted through an online or in-person experience-based interview by peers, assessing candidates' architecture and industry expertise. It provides credibility and assurance to employers that BTABOK professionals are able to practice as successful architects on the largest projects or programs. BTABOK Distinguished Certification is bestowed upon top business and technology architects, validated by a community of practicing architects through a professional association by passing a board of 4 reviewers and a moderator. Finally, there is the TOGAF Enterprise Architecture Leader course. This course ensures that the architects possess knowledge and understanding of how to establish an enterprise architecture capability based on established best practices. The learning outcome is that you will be able to lead the EA team and develop digital strategies to achieve organizational goals. So, whether you're an aspiring architect, a practitioner architect, or an architect leader, there's a seat at the architect's table for you. Embrace the journey, elevate your skills, and become the maestro of enterprise architecture. For HRD Corp registered companies, all enterprise architecture training courses are claimable for up to 100% by HRD Corp. SBL cause funding. If you are a Singapore citizen, Singapore permanent resident, or a long-term visitor pass holder, you can claim up to 70% funding for all enterprise architecture training courses. In addition, for self-sponsor, the remaining balance of the course fee is claimable using Skills Future credits or the Union Training Assistance Program for NTUC members. For company sponsor, the remaining balance can be covered by Skills Future Enterprise credits and absentee payroll for SSG-funded courses. As for companies who are hiring for business analyst, business or solution architect role, the E2I's Place and Train program offers salary funding support that allows employers to claim up to 70% of the employee's salary for the first 3 months. Terms and conditions apply. If you would like to find out more, visit www.atdsolution.com. We will be more than happy to be your partner in your enterprise architecture journey. See you soon. Hi, welcome to
So as you can see earlier on, we have different path and also certification program for different levels of architects. So for aspiring architects, they are those that who want to be an architect, but probably they haven't either go through a formal training to be an architect, or they are not practicing as an architect yet. So you can go for the aspiring architect, right? Next, you have the practitioner architect. These are for those who are practicing as an architect in different role. And last but not least is the architect leader. These are the people that is actually leading the transformation initiative. So for aspiring architect, normally this is suitable for anyone with IT background or those who are experienced in business but has involved with IT, right? So those roles such as business data, software, infra, or security engineers might be the role that is suitable to move up as an aspiring architect. This also include those who are doing project program. Okay, so we have comprehensive programs, not only in terms of certification, but also for the on-the-job training programs as well. So if you are interested, you can again look up more information on our website. Okay, and next we have the practitioner architects. These are the one that those for the architect who are actually practicing in their career at the moment, right? So this include various architecture domain from business, data, software, infrastructure, or securities. Or for those who are very experienced, more than 10 years experience in the IT industry or departments, they might be able to also to embark and convert themselves to be a practitioner architect. Okay, so in terms of competency, there is a structured way of measuring what is your current competency, or for companies who like to see their people, what is their level of competency. So you can follow the BTABOK by IASA, Business Technology Body of Knowledge. Okay, so IASA, as introduced earlier on, is actually association for all the architects, which we have, there are chapters around different part of the world. And if you are interested, you can join IASA as a communities. Okay. As what we have learned earlier on, that BTABOK is the new versions of IDABOK, whereby the focusing is more on business technology architecture. So beside the competency that we're going to discuss next, it also have many tools that allow architects to be able to use freely. Right, so it will look into various areas of digital transformations. Okay, so this is the BTABOK competency model 3.0 that we have, whereby it's looking at different areas of domain and also specializations. So this include business technology strategy, human dynamic design. So each of this is the areas of skills that is important as architect. Right. Beside that, the foundation pillar also include quality attributes and also the IT environment. And in IASA, there are four main areas of specializations, namely the business architect, the information architecture, infrastructure architecture, as well as software architecture. Some of you might ask, how about in terms of solution architect or security architectures? So these are the specialization that cut across these four domain. For example, if you're talking about security, right, you'll be looking at security from a business angle, from an application angle, infrastructure angle, and also the data angle for securities. So similarly for solutions as well, it is looking at these four areas of specializations when you talk about solution architecture. in terms of framework, many of time we will be thinking that okay, now we know that we need to acquire this competency, but in terms of different job roles, what kind of competency that is related to architects that we need to acquire? So this is where the framework will come in to look at what are the different job roles and what are the competency that is required. And today we are going to outline some of the competency that is required for different areas of job role, whether it's for aspiring architect, practitioner architect, or the architect leader. So one of the quite comprehensive skill framework that we can see is actually the skill framework that is developed by Skill Future, that is by the Singapore government. It is a little bit similar to Sophia in UK as well, whereby they look at skills across various industry. But for architectures, we are looking at the skill sets for infocom technology in particular, right? So all the IASA courses are mapped actually to the infocom technology skill framework, which we call the skill framework for ICT, right? So all the courses that we mentioned earlier on are all mapped to this. Okay, so what this means is that in skill framework for ICT, there are 4 different categories, right? So there are 8 tracks, 33 sub-track, and also 123 different job roles. So in terms of architect job role, in here we are focusing on 7 different architect job role, right? Including enterprise architect, business data, software, infrastructure, security, as well as solution architect. Right, so each of these skill role will have a defined competency, and by learning actually the competency, you'll be able to pick up as part of you'll be able to perform as architect in this area. Okay. So in terms of skill set for ICT, skill framework for ICT, there are 2 areas of skills. One is called the critical core skill. In general, these are some of the soft skills, but what we are interested in here is we're going to look at some of the technical skill and competency area. So for architectures, we are focusing on 3 particular categories. One is business and project management competency. Another one is design and architecture, of course, and also looking into the strategic planning, right? So in terms of business and project management skill set, we are looking more into the business skill set, right? So some of the skill set that is identified here include business innovation, business need analysis, as well as business requirement mapping, right? Business need analysis is about how you can look at business requirement and how to align solutions to business strategy and objective, right? So this is mapped to one of the courses called the Business Technology Requirement Architectures. And of course, the courses that we're going to launch today is called the Architecture Core, or we can call it the Enterprise Architecture Core, whereby we will be focusing, one of the skill set is to look at level 5, how business need analysis can be conducted, right? How you can map your solutions into your business strategies and objectives. Okay, next, competency is a business innovation. Business innovation typically is the business architecture course, which will be coming up next, right? After the architecture core, you'll be moved on to actually either the business architect or the solution architect. And under the business and project management competency, another competency that we want to acquire is the business requirement mapping. So this can be achieved by looking into how you can model the enterprise and to map into strategically into the business and also the technology. So one of the courses that is focusing on that is called the Archimate. Okay, so next we are going to look at design and architecture skill competency. This is the area whereby the main focus will be on enterprise architecture as well as solution architecture at the moment. Okay, so enterprise architecture is a discipline that can be covered by the various areas of competency competency. So there are courses that you can take in order to satisfy the different level of competency. So first we have the architecture competency. Basically, architecture competency is about the IASA competency model, right? So, so it gives you an overview of what is IASA competency model. Next, we have the Certified IT Architect Foundation, which is the architecture core, right? And level 6, we have the TOGAF EA Foundation and Practitioner. Okay. We also look into solution architecture. This is where IASA solution architecture under CITA-A that will be able to learn about solution architectures, right? So you'll be wondering what others role that is required in order to fulfill the competency. So last but not least, we have the PTS, which is IASA BTS, that help to actually align with the strategic planning level 5. So in terms of the role that need to fulfill the competency, let us focus on the practitioner architect in this session. So we have the business architect solution, enterprise software, infra, data, and security architect. So each of these architects will have different type of competency that they need to fulfill. If you refer to the skill framework for ICT, you notice that these are the job role that is being defined. And each of these job role will fit into different category of competency, right? So in general, okay, this is a suggested career path for the architects. So as you can see in here that we have the practitioner architect here. Okay, let's zoom into it. In general, the practitioner architect is for the architects that we have defined earlier. And for the aspiring architect will be those that can move up, eventually to the practitioner architect level. So this is called the aspiring architect. Then for the architect leader, we are looking at those that is leading the architect, which namely in here is can be the CTO or maybe the enterprise architect role, right? So these are the 3 kind of level and definitions that we will look at. So if you look at from a different perspective, from a software and application job role perspective, you notice that software architect is in here, right? So if we zoom inside the under software engineering, we'll notice that software architect can be the practitioner architects, right? So to be an aspiring architect, you can start off as a software engineer and you move up to a practitioner architect. Then after that, you might move up as an architect leader, right? In this case, it's the head of software engineering. Okay, so this is for software. And we also have competency level for infrastructure, right? So if you look at infrastructure, the practitioner architect here defined is the infrastructure architect, but the aspiring architect can be the infra engineer or the sys engineers, right? As they move up, they can also be the head of infrastructure, and even CTO and CIO also can be the architectural leader. Okay, next we have the data domain. Under the data domain, we have the data architect as well. So if we zoom into that, we will see that actually below we have the data engineer, and for the leader, we have the chief data officer or the chief AI officer. Okay, next we look at cybersecurity. Cybersecurity has been important areas of architect as well. So today we see that we have security architect. So the security architect is also a progression for the security engineers, whereby they can progress up as a security architect, and they might be reporting to the Chief Information Security Officer, which is we identify as architect leader. So in every career path, we have identified the practitioner architect and also the inspiring architect, and also as well as the architect leader, right? So with that alone, if you are an individual who is planning for your career path, or if you are a HR or head of department who is planning for your team, you might be able to refer to some of this framework and to look at how you can assess the competency of for yourself or for your team. and also to plan out actually the career path and also the type of competency required and also the certification in order to fulfill the competency. So for example, if we talk about business architect, okay, we can look at it that business architect have different critical job function, as you can see here on the screen. But in order to fulfill the job function, you will require to acquire the relevant competency, so which is my next screen here. So as you can see on the right, there is a list of competency that is identified for the business architect. Right? So how does this relate to actually the courses that we mentioned earlier on? So each of these courses that we have earlier on is mapped to the various competency. So as a result, if you are a business architect, if you want to acquire the skill, you are able, if you take up actually some of these courses, especially by IASA, you'll be able to fulfill some of this competency. Okay, so that's how it works. So all this information is available in our playbook, which if you are interested, at the end of the session, you can request for a copy whereby we map each of this role into the competency. As a result, then you can use that as a guideline. So I will not go into detail for each of this, but in fact, each of this, it will define the job task and also the competency that you need to acquire. Okay. So we also have software architect, right? Infrastructure architect, data, and also security architect, right? So you can take a look at this, and also enterprise architect. In the playbook, we also talk about if you are not yet an architect, but you inspire to be architect one day. So you can also look at what you can pick up, right? For example, right, under enterprise architecture domain, we have business analyst, we have project manager, program manager, and program director who inspire to become an architect. So you can also use that as a guideline to see how you can acquire the skill set and prepare yourself to be ready, for example, to be a business architect. Okay, so I will leave this to you to look at the playbook. And in fact, even for architect leader also, we have a list of job role that is being defined. So your organization might not have the exact job role, but you can find what is the nearest to the job role that you are performing right now, right? So, so each of this, we will define actually what are the competency that is required and what are the certification you need to take on. Okay, so I'll leave that for your own reading. But for today, we are actually launching the architecture core, or we call it the enterprise architecture core. Currently, this program will lead you to CITA-F, Certified IT Architect Foundation. So this program will also is suitable for all the architects and also those who are inspired to be architect in the future, right? So like what Paul has mentioned earlier on, some of the information he has shared is some of the content that is within this enterprise architecture core. Okay, and this program is also heavily supported by the government in some of the country, including Malaysia and Singapore. Okay. With that, I will leave this with you so that you can find out a little bit more if you are keen into the certification path. It's coming up. Yeah.